What's going on, everyone? So, Bronny James is really starting to look like the basketball player we thought he could potentially be coming into the league. Obviously, look, he's still very raw, doesn't belong in the rotation on the main roster, but he is really starting to come into his own, really starting to show some confidence and display out there in the G League. He, in the month of December, is averaging just under 21 points, 20.7 points, 2.7 rebounds, and 2 assists. Again, in the month of December, overall on the season for the G League. This is G League stats. 13.4 points, 3 rebounds, and 3.4 assists per game. And he's doing it in 27 minutes a game on average. 3-point percentage on 4.7 attempts still needs some work. He's only 21.2% from 3-point range. But again, it's nice to see. I know, of course, anytime I talk about Bronny, you get all the people that are like, oh, Bronny this, Bronny that. Look, he is a 20-year-old rookie who was the 55th pick in the draft, right? If this was anybody else, we would be hyping him up and talking about how great he's playing in the G League and how good he's doing and this, that, and the other, right? Like, he's having a really good run. He's starting to get comfortable. Defensively, point of attack has always been there. It's just the offensive game. If he can continue to grow and work on, obviously we'll see what he looks like, year 2, 3 from now, if he's ready to actually be a rotation piece and, a player, right? Talked about it before. Bronny James, he doesn't have to be a superstar. He doesn't have to be his dad, right? You need those dirty work guys. You need the Avery Bradleys, the Alex Carusos, the George Hills, guys like that. Those guys are very valuable too. And if we could just turn Bronny James into a legit 3-and-D guard, if he could be an athletic Gabe Vincent, that would be fantastic. Hopefully better, right? But what we've seen the last handful of games from Gabe Vincent, he's been very good. If we can get that from Bronny James, that would be perfect. Again, if he's your backup point guard that's coming off of the bench, or if he's your point of attack initiator in the starting unit or whatever, it's fine. Again, not every player on your team 1 through 15 is going to be a superstar. They're not all going to be stars. Sometimes you just need that role guy that's willing to play the defense and lock down and do those things. If he could be a Dennis Schroeder, that would be fantastic, right? Dennis Schroeder isn't a star or a superstar, an all-star or anything like that, but he's a guy that many teams like to have on their team because he is that defensive pest. He can make plays. He can, do multiple things on the basketball court. If Bronny can evolve into that, perfect. Even if he's like what he's right now in the G League, 13, 14 points, 3 or 4 rebounds, and, 4 to 6 assists, something like that. If he could be a 13, 4, and 4 guy, that's perfect in the NBA. You need guys like that, especially if he can play the defense that we know he can play. But I didn't want to just make this video just to, talk and hype up Bronny and the G League guy. What I wanted to talk about is the Lakers are bringing him as well as Maxwell Lewis up. I find this kind of interesting, right? Now, again, could be nothing, could be something, right? But according to Mark Stein, James and Maxwell Lewis were recalled by the Lakers from South Bay on Sunday with the expectations that they will be uniform for the Lakers' home date Monday against the Detroit Pistons. Could this be a trade is potentially coming, right? There's a lot of talks about Valanciunas and a lot of reports that are like, hey, this could be getting done pretty soon, pretty quick. I even said over on Ed Stan's Lakers before, it's probably not going to happen during the weekend. But if you were ever going to get a trade done, right, and you were the Lakers and you wanted to get something done, this stretch right now would be the best time to do so. Because the Lakers, they don't leave California until January, 5th? Yeah, January 5th. So really it'll probably be like the 4th. So they are in California all the way till January 3rd. You have the Detroit game tomorrow. Then you have the Warriors, the Kings, right? The Cavs, the Blazers, and the Hawks. All are at home except for that Warriors game. The Warriors game on Christmas is on the road, but again, you're still in California. So if you were going to make a trade and you were looking to get something done, this would probably be the best time in order to do so, because now you can just get whoever that is. Let's say it is a Valanciunas or it is a Robert Williams or something like that. You could get something done immediately, bring that guy in, and then kind of help get him acclimated. He's at home, so you could get more time to like get practices in and have and work with him and go over stuff. And rather than like, oh well, we're going on a 6-game road trip tomorrow, so welcome. Hope you're ready, right? Like, it just gives them a better opportunity, or people, because the Lakers are trying to work out and get multiple pieces, multiple players, and we'll see if they're actually able to pull that off. But the Lakers going and getting a center or a two-way wing or both, right? There's talks about Kyle Kuzma and Valanciunas. That could be a possibility. If they could get something done, right, chances are it's probably going to include, if it's a Valanciunas, probably going to include Gabe Vincent. So you may need a backup guard. You may need somebody to come in and give you some spot minutes, play a few minutes, right? Obviously, you'd still have D'Lo, right? And you'd still have Austin Reeves and LeBron, but it would just be nice to kind of have that guy on the bench if need be. I'm not going to lie, I would rather probably go with Quincy Olivari, but there are rules and regulations to how many minutes and games G League guys can play, and Bronny is actually on the roster. He's actual roster spot. Same thing with Maxwell Lewis. So it is very possible that could be the logic, that could be the thinking. Again, I'm not saying that this is confirmation we're getting a trade. I don't want this to come across as that, but I do think it's interesting that there's just been all these reports about a trade specifically kind of centered around Valanciunas or a Robert Williams. And now they're calling up Bronny when they haven't done that recently. And it's just, I don't know, it's an interesting thought. It could just be because they're on this, California trip, or not trip, but, California stand for the next few weeks. So maybe they just want to get Bronny some reps. Maybe they just want to get him some opportunity. It could be as simple as that. But again, if the Lakers pull off even a bigger trade and what if they give up Gabe Vincent and D'Lo? Right? Well, then you're definitely going to need a backup point guard, somebody that can come in and step in, at least for that Detroit game, right? And because even if you got, say, let's say, just sticking with the Wizards, say you got Valanciunas and you got like a Malcolm Brogdon, right? Okay, problem is those guys aren't going to be able to play for the Detroit game, so you're going to have to wait that. They'll probably be there for the Christmas game, but they're not going to be there for the Detroit game. So it's just things that the Lakers got to keep in mind and kind of figure out. So it is very possible that Bronny ends up kind of just being there just as break glass case of emergency, but also it could just be, to kind of give him some reps. I mean, chances are I don't think that he'll play outside of like garbage time minutes. So it could just be like they just want the bodies there just to have the bodies there. Could be that they're getting ready to practice and run some scrimmages and stuff for practices and things like that. And they could just bring Bronny and these guys in. But I if you were ever going to try to give Bronny a look at some things, right, and give him an opportunity out there on the basketball court or something, Detroit wouldn't be the worst team to do that against. Detroit did beat us, right, in Detroit earlier in the season, which was not good. And Detroit actually is coming off of a really good win. But still, I mean, Lakers should be able to handle business, right? Like, this shouldn't be a game that the Lakers stress or anything. But, Detroit just beat the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix on the road. And now they're coming in to take on the Lakers. And they are a play-in team right now. I mean, they're 12-17, so they're trying to scratch, claw, and climb. I mean, they're only 2.5 games out of the 6th seed. So, Detroit would love to pull out this win, but, to have Bronny maybe get some spot minutes or something and kind of see if he can he's on a roll right now with the recent showcase and stuff. So, maybe you can kind of light a little bit of a fire or kind of continue with the pattern that he's had, the hot streak he's on, and maybe get him in, especially if he can knock down a couple shots, kind of continue to grow his confidence. But look, Bronny coming into the league, I mean, he was always going to be a project, right? We always knew he was going to be a guy that was couple years away, which again is fine. You need guys that you can grow and develop and kind of have in-house. And then top of that, like I mentioned earlier, not everyone has to be a superstar. Not everyone has to be a 20, 10, and 10 guy, right? Like, there's very few that are actually that. And if Bronny can just be a serviceable player, if Bronny can just be a guy that can come in and kind of play a role and fill in a spot, like, why not, right? Like, that's beautiful. It's perfect. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think that this is interesting? Do you think this is kind of a bit curious? Do you think, nah, it's nothing. It's just, for practice or just to because you're at home, right? But I think it's interesting because Bronny's been doing so well in the G League recently. It's like, wouldn't you want to kind of keep him in there to kind of get some reps and keep playing games? But I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But anyway, again, how you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Love to hear it either way. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.